Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
We think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty. Welcome to RadioAMB, designed for those who love to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Smucker. I'm a licensed cosmetologist who's been in the business for over 40 years. RadioAMB stands for American Made Beauty, and it's where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our program sponsor today is AmericanMadeBeauty.com. It's a beauty platform designed to help consumers find beauty companies that are implementing the industry's best practices to bring you quality products and services. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com and buy your favorite American Made Beauty product. As a refresher for those that haven't heard our program before on beauty schools, today we're going to really take a deep dive into the world of beauty schools and what's happening. Cosmetology is the overarching field of beauty that issues to people who are going to work in licensed beauty salons the ability to cut hair. Cosmetology generally, and I'll ask this question of our guest, but when I went to beauty school some 40 years ago, cosmetology license, it allowed me to do everything from hair cutting to coloring to perming to manicuring and pedicuring, to makeup applications to facials. Cosmetologist was all-encompassing. And over the years, that's changed somewhat in that we now have specialization. And so people go to school and they specifically are cosmetologists doing hair. You can do an aesthetics license, which specifically just deals with skincare and makeup. You can go to school and be a nail tech and just do nail services. And throughout the United States, the number of hours that one is required to get in order to get that license varies from state to state. More and more there have become some synergies, but most recently we have had states that are beginning to have conversations about abolishing licensing for the beauty industry altogether. And so that really comes into play is beauty schools and what beauty schools are going to be doing. My guest today is Frank Trieu, who is Vice President of Business Development and Industry Relations for Evergreen Beauty College in the Northwest. He also serves on the board of directors for the American Association of Cosmetology Schools, where he was named Board of Director of the Year in 2015 and is currently the president of the board. Frank, in his business, focuses on building relationships with local salons, shops, and spas to assist in successful job placement for Evergreen future professionals. He serves on many state and educational committees. And under his leadership, Salons and Spa Relationship Building, Modern Salon Magazine has recognized his company, Evergreen, as a finalist in the last 4 years in a row for job placement programs. Frank has over 10 years of experience in the beauty industry and has a BA in Marketing and Finance from Albert School of Business and Seattle University. He is recognized in the Puget Sound Business Journal as a recipient of the 40 Under 40 as the 40 top business leaders under the age of 40. He's married to his wife, Kim, and has 3 boys and a girl. Welcome, Frank. We're delighted to have you with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty. I'm so excited to be able to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your early life and how you ended up in the beauty business.
Well, thank you, Patty. You know, it's interesting that you asked that. When I grew up in the salons, my parents had salons when we were growing up, and I really enjoyed being part of the being in the business. You know, I swept a lot of hair. And it was fun just to be able to help out in the salons. And when I ended up graduating from high school, I went to Seattle U, and that's where I got my degree in finance and marketing. And during that time, my parents had decided that they wanted to go ahead and move from the salons into beauty schools. And my mom was a teacher back in her home country before she came to the United States. And she's always wanted to teach. So when they started the beauty school, I had actually I had another business, and they had asked me to help them get accredited. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, or the audience is familiar with accreditation, but there's different types of accreditation. And I figured I could give them a couple free weekends. I was very naive, and it took actually a couple years to be able to go through the accrediting process. And so once I helped the schools get accredited, then we were able to get us approved to offer federal financial aid. And then what ended up happening was I ended up loving it, and I've been as part of the school for now almost 15 years.
Wow. So accreditation, which basically means that tell us exactly what that means in terms of getting the school accredited.
Sure. What accreditation really is that it's an additional certification a school can be able to get in addition to their state license. And so when an institution meets the requirements of accreditation, it's basically an approval that we're performing to certain standards, and with that approval allows us to be able to do different things. One of which is to be able to offer, once we're approved with the Department of Education, to be able to offer federal financial aid to students that qualify, and so that helps students be able to go to school and gives them different access to funding.
And so and we'll talk a little bit about how, because that's really one of the factors that's played into some of the controversy that the industry is facing at this point. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about, you jumped in, so you've been involved for 15 years now with the school, multiple locations that you've developed over the last few years.
That's right. Yeah, when I came into the school, my parents had this school, and we had a very small school. We had about 30-something students, and just only a few staff members. And when my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer in 2007, my siblings decided to be able to come in and just to give my parents a little relief as they were going through that period. And when my dad had actually passed, my brother and my sister and I ended up making the decision to go ahead and do this together, and that's where we ended up growing. Right now, we've grown to 3 different campuses in the Seattle area, and it's been a really fun and interesting ride for us to work together as a family, as well as working together in this industry.
And it sounds like it's always been a family affair. I read a couple of little interesting trivia pieces on you. One is that you created a Facebook account to meet your wife.
That's right. Yeah. And that was really fun. And that my sister-in-law is trying to set me up with my wife now my wife, and I was having the hardest time meeting her, so I discovered a thing called Facebook, and so I created an account, and I wanted to be able to invite her out. And right before I sent the invitation, I realized I looked over and saw this thing called Friends, and I didn't have any friends, so I spent the next day and a half adding on as many people as I was able to, and so I got up to about 27 friends, and then I had then messaged her and asked her out. And years later, I found out that I told her, well, Kim, I don't know if you know this, but I started a Facebook account just to meet you. And she said, Frank, I don't know if you know this, but the only reason I accepted was because I felt sorry for you. You have 27 friends.
I love that. But you haven't always been a little shy of friends, because I understood you led a youth group of 50 through Europe?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I think that we're really active in our community and also in our church too. And so there's been a couple times where I've helped lead some youth over to what was called World Youth Day, and we've taken them over to Europe to be able to do a pilgrimage and to explore and to understand more about our world and about our faith. And then I've taken them down to Australia as well, and it's very much part of what we do. Is just my family's really ingrained in our church and also in our community.
And also in discipline, because I understand you also enjoy marathons and triathlons and cycling events.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the outdoors a lot, and so it's been a lot of fun to be able to go outside and take my kids out there too. I mean, with 4 little ones right now, we really enjoy being outdoors, and especially being in the Pacific Northwest. It's beautiful out here, and we have so many options to be able to enjoy nature.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of those different experiences in your life, the whole idea how social has changed the way that we're interacting, the idea that young people are traveling to all corners of the world and being involved athletically, do have all of those things contributed to your role in the business and how you've developed it over the years?
And Patty, those are areas that are really important to our family, and I think that we've been able to go ahead and sort of share that amongst the culture that we've created here at the college. I can share with you that for our schools here, community service is a huge portion of our culture. We do a number of different events here at the school, but also to extend it to the different community centers around here. And in about a year ago, Seattle Business Magazine ended up awarding us the Community Impact Award, which is to be able to go ahead and positively contribute to the community that we're in. And and we do some other fun things too. Is that with our belief in how important it is to be able to get out there and to enjoy nature and to be able to exercise and take care of ourselves not only mentally but physically too. We have whole wellness benefit that we help sponsor our team members, our staff, to gym memberships, or even like salsa dancing and to kickboxing, and just to get them out in nature and to be able to enjoy themselves out there.
And there's no better place than the state of Washington, where it is almost quite as beautiful as the state of California. So tell us about so you've got your own businesses, and then you got involved with the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. Tell us a little bit about the association.
So the American Association of Cosmetology Schools has been around since 1924, and what it is that it is a national association to be able to unify and represent schools, but also students and educators across the United States. And I can share with you, Patty, that I came to the association my first year into the business, so 15 years ago, and I walked into there, and it was an amazing community of all these different schools that were focused on helping each other better deliver our education to our students. And over the years, there was opportunities for me to be able to volunteer and to participate. And about 7 years ago, one of the board members actually invited me to run for the board. And it's sort of interesting because, sometimes things end up picking you. And so I tried to be able to run. I got elected. And then I served on the board for the last, for 7 years now. And just based on being on the board, I've had different opportunities to share my perspective and share my experience. And this past year, I was blessed enough to be able to step in the role as the association president, so the chair of the board.
Well, but a very interesting and controversial time to take on the role as board. You heard my opening in trying to tell a little bit about the cosmetology industry. So tell us a little bit about what is currently going on as far as the cosmetology industry.
Well, you know what? That's right. It's funny because I've served on as board president now for a little under a year, and people have asked me how this year has been, and I think the best way to describe it is that it's been character building. It has been a very difficult time for the association and for schools, and there are a number of different reasons. There's some internal growth that we're having as an association and challenges that we had to be able to work through, but on the regulatory landscape, that the schools have been have really faced a lot of scrutiny, a lot of challenges, and there's been a couple approaches. One of which is from the current regulations of what's called gainful employment, and there were some different regulations that were already in place, but that surfaced because of the way that people were interpreting it, and one of which is about making sure that students, when they go to any trade school, right, any trade school, that they are, when they graduate, that they are going to be gainfully employed. So the whole intent of the law is a good intent. It's to be able to make sure that people coming into school graduate and they're able to get a good return on the investment for the student and also the taxpayers. But with the implementation of gainful employment, the challenges that came to our industry is that the way that they were defining what was gainfully employed was difficult for our industry, because the cosmetology industry is a little different in that the data that they were using to evaluate a student's success was based on Social Security Administration data, and that data itself had very specific flaws in it. And when they were applying it to our school, they were looking at our graduates in our industry, saying that, when people graduate from a beauty school, they're not getting a very good return on their investment. And that's where we had to be able to challenge the regulators to be able to go, how are you defining it, and allow us to be part of that discussion. And when the Department of Education was evaluating it, they didn't give it the consideration that we thought was fair, and so we ended up having to file. We had to litigate and ask for an injunction to be able to give our industry a little more consideration.
And Frank, so what does that mean when the definition of gainful employee in other industries? So again, because of the fact that we are utilizing taxpayer money for student financing, if you're an accredited school, you can go to beauty school, you can apply for federal funding, and so federal tax dollars will pay for it. And so the Board of Education said, we want to have some kind of measure that once they graduate, that they are able to get a job and have gainful employment. And you're saying that the measure that they were using was Social Security income. So what's the other measures that that the association felt were important to be considered in that definition?
Well, and it gets really technical, Patty, is that they were using the information, the data that was reported to the Social Security Administration, right? And with the cohort of the data that they were providing, they ended up taking certain points of the data to be able to reference a student's success, right? And what gainful employment means is that, for a certain amount of money that you invest in your education, you should be able to make a certain amount to be able to cover that cost. But the data that they ended up selecting was so flawed that that when they gave us the data, the schools the data, we looked at it and we're like, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're a cosmetologist, and some of the data that came back was that, certain cosmetology programs, a graduate was only making $7,000 or $8,000 a year, which is, I think both you and I recognize that doesn't make any sense. So what the schools did was we ended up challenging the data, saying that, allow us different ways to be able to share with you our data. So some schools ended up surveying their own students and to be able to present data going, this income is not only double or triple of what you had presented, and this is what our graduates are actually making. In Washington State, we ended up using state-sponsored data versus the federal data from the Social Security Administration, and I can share with you from our specific schools, like the comparison was night and day. I mean, like the data that our state data ended up was being almost 70 or 80% higher than what was initially reported, and I think that's where we wanted we asked them for that consideration, and so that there's a lot of different areas that were flawed in the data, and knowing that we have our cosmetologists a lot of them are very entrepreneurial, and so there's a lot of self-reporting that we ask for consideration on that, and then also gratuities and tips too that may not be reflected in Social Security data that are very much part of what our licensed professionals in our industry are actually making.
And so at the heart of it, it's that someone who goes through beauty school, there are so many different pathways for employment and ways in which someone can earn an income. So simply taking what's reported for tax purposes, that data alone doesn't really paint the entire picture.
Yeah, and I think that I think that's one angle of that. But it's also what are you taking as tax purposes, right? And they were only looking at the federal the federal data. But when you go to Oregon, which has state income tax, their numbers even with the same cohort of students, their average was significantly higher than what some of the federal data was showing. And it becomes very technical. But what we were asking is we're like, we want you to look at us as an industry much more fairly and much more inclusively of everything that's taking place. And with any data sample, there's flaws in it, and we ask them for consideration that to go ahead and look at us look at under special circumstances because our industry is unique. And what ended up happening was the judge decided that it was that we should have special consideration. 2 days after the judge's decision, we ended up the Department of Education ended up rolling out with Electronic Announcement 106, saying that not only cosmetology should have consideration, but we should slow down this process and allow other schools outside of our industry to also appeal and to be able to present their cases as well.
So a great win for beauty.
Huge. Yeah, and who would have thought that a small group of beauty schools was able to go ahead and to have that influence over governance of our country and what was rolling out.
Pretty exciting. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about advocacy that the association does for students and schools. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Shh. Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. This is Patty Smucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I have the great opportunity of being here with Frank Trieu, Vice President of Business Development and Industry Relations at Evergreen Beauty College, and the President of the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. So, Frank, we've been talking a little bit about how the industry has been given, recently just won a lawsuit where we were given some special consideration to figure out the gainful employment that people have as a result of going through beauty school. Bring our audience up to date, Frank, with how does it work today in beauty schools with regards to cosmetologists, nail technicians, estheticians, and the number of hours that someone needs to get those different types of licenses?
Well, thank you, Patty. Yeah, the way that it's currently governed is that there is a lot of state autonomy in in the requirements for these specific licenses. And so each state typically defines what are their appropriate hours for a license in, let's say, cosmetology. And you have variances amongst the states. Like, for instance, in Washington State, where we're at, a cosmetology license is 1,600 hours, versus when we go to New York, it's 1,000 hours there. And then you can even go to Idaho, which is 2,000 hours. And so there are some differences from state to state. And there's different not only in hours, but also the way that they define their licenses.
And so in the state of Washington, what are the different, can you go and get a cosmetology license today that encompasses everything from hair to nails, or is it all specialized now?
And that's a great question, Patty. And the way that it happens in Washington State right now is there's actually 3 different licenses for hair. So you have your cosmetology licenses, which encompass hair, a little bit of skin, and a little bit of nails. But those, when I say a little bit, that means that there's certain restrictions to those, to what they can do, a cosmetologist can provide for skin and also nail care. The second license in Washington State is a hair design license, which allows cosmetologists to be able to do hair, cut and color, and chemicals of the hair. And then you have a third license, is a barbering license, which allows only for cutting, no chemical services. So, so there's different licenses. So there you can go for somebody that wants to come in just cut hair. There's a specific license for that. But if they want to be able to upgrade or to be able to expand their scope of practices, there's also licenses for that as well.
And are there specific licenses that break out for aesthetics and nails?
Yeah, and even for aesthetics, there's actually 2 different licenses for aesthetics. One is a tiered one, where it allows an esthetician to be able to do facials, waxing, microdermabrasion. And then there is a Tier 2 aesthetics license called the Master's Aesthetics License. And what that allows an esthetician to do is expand outside of just the Tiered 1 and also do like laser hair removal or IPL treatments or medium depth peels. Those are, which expands out their scope. But one of the caveats is that when you're going and venturing into there, which is considered almost medical treatments, that you have to be under the supervision of a medical professional. And the reason why that license came out a couple years ago was because people were getting injured, and the state wanted to have more oversight and to be able to protect the public.
Okay. But that at the aesthetics Tier 2 master esthetician, they need to be able to occupy to conduct their services under the direction of a doctor.
That's correct.
Okay. And then how about for nails?
For nails, so in Washington State, the nail license is a 600 clock-hour program, which if a student was going to school full-time, it would take about 3 to 3.5 months to be able to complete. And the nail license allows a professional to be able to do not only natural nails but also nail enhancement, so gels, acrylics, things like that.
Okay. And so what are some of the issues that you are facing with regards to regulatory that the association is helping as far as supporting students?
Well, the association is, being a national association, a lot of our work is done on the national level. So over in D.C., where it tackles a number of those regulations. But what we also do is we recognize the impact of schools on a state level. So we try to be able to provide some support on the state level, too. And one of the challenges that schools are running into is in certain states that there's an effort to deregulate, which means that they believe that, to be able to practice in this field shouldn't require a license. And I think that that's one of the areas that we've tried to provide schools and also the industry with more support in, is to be able to share with people that when they're asking for deregulation, that the reason why they're asking to deregulate is because they truly don't understand what exactly we do and the public safety exposures that happen when this industry isn't regulated.
So let's talk about that. When people think about deregulating, so all the things you just talked about, there are 3 different types of licensing for hair. There's 2 for aesthetics and 1 for nails. Why is there a need for that type of licensing? And when I'm down in our state capitol, we have to share that, because when people come in and they said, Frank, so you're part of beauty education, like why would a student have to go through all that schooling and that investment,
when really why do we need to protect the public from a bad haircut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a bad nail polish. And what they don't really understand is that it's so much more than just cutting and styling hair. It's so much more than just applying polish. A lot of this is a public safety, in that we have to be able to make sure that we do it in a safe and sanitary manner. And what we recognize is that the role that cosmetologists, nail techs, estheticians play within public safety is very evident. And when we present our cases to the state boards and to state representatives, we show them what happens when it isn't done right. And and I think that you not only have the support of our industry, but the insurance agencies are also there. The insurance organizations are also there in support of that too, because they want to be able to make sure they protect the consumers.
And where are some of the various different areas that sanitation is necessary? And I know we only have 1 minute, but the safety with regards to the spread of disease, isn't that a huge area that's addressed in school?
Absolutely, yeah. I know that's one of the main focuses of our education is to be able to help them understand how to be able to do it in a safe and sanitary manner. And I think that you don't have to go very far than just to look at the news even when we look at nail diseases and disorders, and what are contracted when people aren't doing it in a safe and sanitary manner.
Right.
So.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what are some of the other educational pieces that we think are so important and helping to bring together these states in a uniform manner. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easier for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Thanks for staying with us. This is Patty Smucker, and you're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I have the good pleasure of being here with Frank Trieu of Evergreen Beauty College in the Northwest. He serves on the board of directors for the American Association of Cosmetology, where he is the president. So, Frank, we've been talking a little bit about the issue facing our industry, which is deregulation, and some states thinking that we can completely get rid of licenses, which is what cosmetology schools are in business to do, is to train people to be able to get their license. We talked about sanitation, which is the spread of disease, but what are some of the other techniques that students get in school that you think are really important to maintain for licenses?
And thank you, Patty. And I can share with you that one of there's two roles in the school. One is to be able to help them to be able to be licensed, right? To be able to offer the services in a safe and sanitary manner, but there are two different areas. One is that we want students to be license ready, but we also have a responsibility as schools to help them become career ready. And I think that's where you'll see a lot of focus on schools too, is that not only to be able to perform the services, but to be able to do it where they're going to be able to build a future career. And so a lot of the focus in schools are going to be on customer service, on different business skills like understanding finances and understanding just even life skills or what some people will call soft skills, which we call success skills, about making sure they're having the right habits to be able to enter into the workforce. And those habits not only include, to be able to prepare for job interviews, but about communication and being able to make sure that they're supporting the salons and spas that they're going to be working at, and how to be able to work in a team environment to be able to make sure that they're building an experience where the public will come in and not only receive the service, but truly enjoy it and to be able to come back.
And it's a great way in which you described that, and that's that there's two pieces. One is license ready, and the other is career ready. Under the license ready, it's the sanitation, but are there actual technical pieces that are part of qualifying for that license?
Oh, yes. And I think what you're asking is very important, is that there is the sanitation portion of it, but there's a way to be able to ensure that. So there's different techniques and different skill sets that the students learn as they're applying, and that they're not only offering this service in a sanitary manner, but also in a very safe manner as well. And so how students are evaluated in school is that we will go ahead and they not only go through school, but then they're tested on it and in the school, but they're also subject to state testing as well. So before they go ahead and enter into the field as a licensed professional, they take not only a written exam to be able to make sure that they understand the theory behind how to be able to deliver the services, but also through a practical where they demonstrate that as well. And I think those are areas that a portion of their education really is committed to being able to deliver, and to be able to make sure that there's a strong understanding of those concepts and those processes. Right.
And when we look at these various different states where there's such a huge difference in the number of hours, what's happening? What are there states that they just leave off portions of the curriculum, or why is it not more consistent across the country?
And you have asked the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, as an industry, that we convene and we discuss on, is that why aren't hours standardized across the country, right? Can't we just pick 1 hour, a certain hour, like the lowest common denominator, and apply it towards all 50 states?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, and I think it's a valid question and a valid discussion to be able to have. What we recognize is that each state will define their market slightly different, and there are certain characteristics in each state that will create the market and the demand for the workforce. And so, for instance, in New York, where a cosmetologist is only required to have 1,000 hours, right? Versus Idaho, where they're required to have 2,000 hours. The question that rises is that is a cosmetologist in Idaho twice as good as one in New York?
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of us would agree that that statement is that question is a flawed question. But I think where we have to understand is that why is it only 1,000 in New York and 2,000 in Idaho? And then we have to look at the specific markets for that. For instance, in New York City, there's a strong assistant program that a lot of graduates, when they graduate, they enter into those to be able to get additional training. Versus in Idaho, when a person graduates, that they are not only expected to be able to do hair, but they'll also supplement with nails and also skin as well. And I think those are all things that we need to be able to have that discussion to create better clarity. I think there has to be a middle ground, and that's where the majority of the states are going to range anywhere between 1,400 and 1,600 hours. And I think that's where as an association, as an industry, we're beginning to explore are what are the common competencies or the common skill sets that are needed for our industry. And it's a discussion that we as an industry are engaging in, and to be able to try to find additional data to support how to be able to better deliver and standardize the education that we're offering across the country.
And that is really rings positive in my ear that we can look at what are the common competencies that people need to have in order to be able to properly deliver those services. And the other piece of it, which goes back to our conversation earlier, and that is gainful employment. Not only to do the skills, but to be able to deliver them in such a way that you're able to monetize those skills. And I think that that's one of the things that oftentimes gets overlooked. It's one thing to know how to cut a head of hair. It's another to be able to cut that head of hair in such a way that the client is willing to come back and let you do it a second time.
Yeah, and one of the things that I can share with you is Patty, it's you being a cosmetologist, me being in the schools, we recognize how incredible this industry really is, and also that the education the student receives is a great return on their investment. I mean, having graduated from Seattle University, and I just I graduated 15 years ago, and each year of school was running right about $18,000. I just re-looked at it this year, and each year of school is running about $52,000 at Seattle University. So when I graduated with my BA, graduating today, it would cost me over $200,000 for that bachelor's. Well, I look at cosmetology, and and even in our marketplace, like for our schools, the cost of a cosmetology education is right about tuition, kit, book, everything is about $19,000. And I compare those two, and to be able to see, where students are able to take their careers and their licenses, and to see even how quickly a student would have to work to be able to pay back, a degree and for a bachelor's versus a cosmetology degree. There's definitely very clear advantages if students want to be able to go the trade route, and I think that's an area where I'm excited that our country is looking at, to be able to start looking at the trades and how important and the importance of that role in our community here.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up our conversation with Frank Trieu about the industry, cosmetology school industry, and how it is evolving as they are being examined and asked to produce students that are able to be gainfully employed. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Welcome back. This is Patty Smucker here at RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net, and I am here with Frank Trieu of Evergreen Beauty College out of the Northwest, who is also the president of the American Association of Cosmetology Schools. Frank, we've been talking about the cosmetology industry, and that it's been under some specific scrutiny lately because of a variety of different types of deregulation issues and the industry receiving federal money for students going to school, and so consequently there's been some scrutiny about gainful employment. Has that process forced school owners to sort of relook at their business model?
And I think that's a great question, Patty, and I believe it has. I think that it's really required us to be able to really look at and go, what is essential to being able to offer a strong education that's going to provide a good return for the students' time and also their financial investment. And those are some of the discussions that as an association that we're having, is to be able to say, is there better ways or more effective ways of being able to offer our education? And I think that's where the solutions and the questions get a lot more interesting. And, you know, right now, beauty school is managed by clock hours, which means that it is seat time, right, where a student has to be able to come to school to be able to gain the skill set. And part of their evaluation of their progress is the amount of hours they put in school. Well, you know, looking at where entertaining these new questions is there more effective ways of doing that? Can we explore distance education or online education, and or how to be able to better effectively utilize the classroom, you know, not only in the delivery of information, even the use of technology. And I think those are things that have really have really helped us be able to rethink about, you know, how we deliver education in a different and also more effective manner.
And do you find that those kinds of educational options, number one, they're obviously, it's been a process of discovery because of the scrutiny that you've gone through, but is it also driven slightly because of the difference in the audience, the age of people that are going through beauty school today?
And so, Patty, could you clarify that? I guess I don't really quite understand when you said that because of the different ages.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the going through this lawsuit and really looking at how it is that you're delivering education. Is it the changes that you're talking about as far as distance learning and utilizing some other methods of delivering education? Is it also being asked for because of the age of the kinds of people, the age of people that go through beauty school?
Oh, okay. Now, thank you. And I don't know if it's so much because of the age of the people that are going through beauty school, but I think the education itself has evolved, and beauty education hasn't evolved during the requirements of beauty education hasn't evolved with that process.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at even what our states are testing on too, some of it is extremely dated, and I think that we just need to be able to modernize the way that we train students. And now is a great opportunity for us to have that discussion.
And that's a great point, because as these various different new techniques come along, talk about with nails, the gels, and with hair there's the balayage, and there's various different types of chemical treatments or different types of hair cutting treatments. When do those get incorporated into beauty curriculum?
And I think that those are, it's being layered on top of it. And I can't speak for all schools, but I do believe the majority of the schools are trying to be able to help bring very relevant education to their students. And so they're beginning to integrate that into the way that they're training students. So, once they learn the foundation, they begin to be able to do courses or do workshops on being able to introduce different trends. And that's what we do in our organization here, is that we want to be able to provide students with a strong foundation, but also to be able to give them exposure to what's relevant, what's exciting, and what they see on YouTube or what they see in the media. And I think that what you'll see is in a lot of classrooms, they're beginning to integrate like YouTube and those and the aspects of fashion and style into the education they're providing in the curriculum right now.
I know the year that I took my cosmetology license was actually 1976, and it was just the year before that the state board exam required that we demonstrate blow drying. So it is an evolution that comes, but it certainly is slow. As you look at what you've gone through, the association has gone through this year, and the industry has gone through this year with the Board of Education and the deregulation fight that you have on your hands. What's ahead? Where do you feel like your focus needs to be moving forward?
Well, I think that our focus moving forward will always be an advocacy role to advocate for our students and for our industry. And I think that even though we won the lawsuit, right, that is really only a placeholder for us to be able to enter into what's called negotiated rulemaking, and that's where policies and regulations are going to be negotiated to be able to allow our students to be able to continue to access funding to be able to enter into this industry. And so that's, we're going through a very critical time in the next 2 years for us to be able to sit at that table and to represent our students. So that will definitely be a focus of the association in the upcoming 2 years here. The other portion is to make sure that we as an association convene the right conversations amongst the industry on how to be able to better represent and better deliver for our industry, and whether that be through discussions on competency-based education or the discussion of hours. I think that those are areas that the association is committed to being able to help support the industry in having those discussions.
And the license ready versus career ready. I mean, that's probably another really, really important conversation. Who do you look to as some of the ideal players to be involved in that communication?
And I can share with you, Patty, that we're already beginning to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, earlier in this year, we convened and we met up with the PBA, the Professional Beauty Association, and also ISBN, and some of the chain salons. And then we pulled in even manufacturers to be able to have that discussion, and companies like Barbicide to be able to get together and to be able to meet and talk about what is the future of our industry. And I think that with that, we all have different opinions, but we also have very similar intentions, is to be able to really, really build this industry and really get the respect that we deserve as an industry.
Well, I am delighted that we've had the opportunity to have this conversation because, of course, my passion is around the industry. I believe that the desire for human beings to be touched and the nurturing and healing aspects of what we do as in the cosmetology and beauty field is critically important. So thank you for the amazing work that you're doing and for advocating for our industry. If someone wanted to reach out to you with more questions, how could they reach you?
Absolutely. They can go ahead and go on the National Association's website at beautyschools.org and then they can go ahead and reach out to the office, and my information is on there underneath the board of directors, and I'd be happy to support any of your listeners in understanding more or how to be able to advocate for our awesome industry.
Great. Thanks, Frank. It's been a pleasure being with you today.
Thank you so much, Pammy. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. Well, that will do it for us today. Next week, I stretch myself by bringing you a pretty intimate story. Join me and Dr. Shelby Morris-Rowe, a urologist, who will be sharing how lasers have entered the world of urology and how this work is bringing beauty to urology. Send us your comments and questions to requests at American Made Beauty. Thanks for listening to RadioAMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
Obstacle racing. You know you want to try it. Well, try Reebok's Spartan Race, the global leader in obstacle racing. With 4 different race levels, their goal is to get you up off the couch and throw you into the mud and on the trails to give you the adrenaline rush of your life. Obstacle courses are designed to test your resilience, strength, stamina, quick decision-making skills, and give you the ability to laugh in the face of adversity. Visit HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Spartan Race.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.